This one's about Amy. Okay, so Amy might have a lot of different jobs. Okay, one of them might be a physician. So it says, if Amy is a physician, then Amy can prescribe medicine. That's an if-then statement, so it's a P leads to Q type of thing, where the first part of her being a physician is the P, and the conclusion, Q, is that she can prescribe medicine. Now, to help you out a little bit with this truth table in this situation, let's bring in a Venn diagram for Amy. So this big bubble could be Q. This could be prescribers of medicine. Being a physician is not the only thing that would let you prescribe medicine, but it's certainly one of them. So this could be bubble P, which is being a physician. If you have that license, you can prescribe medicine. All right, now, it says here that Amy can't prescribe medicine. So is that P, Q, or not P, or not Q? What are they saying there? They're saying not Q. She can't prescribe the medicine. Now, when you make a truth table, you don't have to make a column for not Q. You can still analyze it the same way we did with P, Q, and P arrow Q. It's just that before, when something was a premise, then we circled the truths. Okay, like right here, it was a premise that Alice did well. And so we circled all the truths where she did well. If not Q is a premise, you would circle the falses instead, because that's the situation you're in. The first statement was that Amy is a physician. That is the first part of the statement. Then the second part of the statement is that Amy can prescribe medicine. So let's let that be the Q. Okay. This is the statement. If Amy is a physician, then Amy can prescribe. As always, we want the combinations of true and false. We want the conventional order of TT, TF, FT, and FF. For any conditional statement, we're going to have TFTT in the last column. All right, so in that last column, we've got TFTT. What we want to do is circle the situation that Amy is in. Now, one thing that was given was that P leads to Q. So being a physician does entitle someone to be able to prescribe medicine. That's what we see in the Venn diagram. If you're a physician, you're automatically in the prescriber bubble. So with that in mind, this is considered a premise of the argument. So let's circle all the truths in this premise column. Because you accept that as absolutely true. Then another thing that's given is that Amy here, she can't prescribe medicine. So what will I circle? Yeah, let's circle the falses this time. Because Q is false is what they're saying. I'll ask you, if Amy cannot prescribe medicine, where is she in this diagram? Yeah, is she in location A, B, or C? Yeah, she is outside the prescriber bubble. Amy is out here. So we want to connect the Venn diagram idea to the truth table idea. What do the Venn diagram and the truth table tell us about Amy's status as a physician? Or what row is in complete agreement with the givens here? 1, 2, 3, or 4, where both of the givens were correct. Both of the givens apply to the situation, right? Row 4. Yeah, she's in row 4. That is Amy's situation right now. So this part says being a physician leads you to being able to prescribe. But Amy can't prescribe. Therefore, can we make a conclusion about her status as a physician? We can. She must not be a physician. We can see it in the Venn diagram as well, because she's outside the Q bubble, so she cannot possibly be in the P bubble. Okay? Yeah, her not being able to prescribe medicine leads to her not being a physician. We looked at that in the past. So this and this are supposed to be logically equivalent. Anyway, let's look at this one. It's a little bit abstract, so I'll try to apply a situation to it. Let's use Amy as an example. So if we use prescribers of medicine as the Q here, notice that the problem is saying that P leads to Q, R leads to Q, S leads to Q, and T leads to Q. In words, they could be saying something like, all physicians are able to prescribe medicine. So physicians can prescribe. I feel like it's a little abstract if you don't apply a situation to it. R could be some other profession who could prescribe medicine, because physicians aren't the only ones. You could have R, which could be physician's assistants. You could have S, which could be nurse practitioners. They're able to prescribe medicine as well. And even bubble T, which could be a thing called a CRNA. This is a licensure that lets you prescribe as well. Now, they're saying that all these things lead to being able to prescribe. So PA can prescribe, is what it says. NP can. And so can CRNA. Now they're saying here that they want to let Q be true. So Q is the thing that we observe. So let's say that this is true, and in words, I'll come up with a different person, Beth. Beth can prescribe medicine, is what it says. Now that might be because Beth is a physician. Or maybe she is a physician's assistant. Maybe she's a nurse practitioner, or maybe she's a CRNA. The list is not necessarily exhaustive, like unless it's stated otherwise. We shouldn't assume that it is. There might be other professions out there that could prescribe medicine as well. So, where would the other go? That would be somewhere who's not in those 4 bubbles, but still in a place where you could still meet the criteria of prescribing medicine some other way, maybe through some job I didn't mention. So, we want to examine the choices here and decide which one's correct. And you can use Beth as an example, just like a thought experiment. If Beth can prescribe, which of these is right? I'll let you look at them for just a second. Okay. If Beth can prescribe medicine, must it be that all of P, R, S, and T are true? Okay, that would mean, to put it into this real-world context, that would mean she is a physician, and she is a physician's assistant, she is a nurse practitioner, and a CRNA. She's all these things, and that's why she's able to prescribe the medicine. Is that the case? It's not necessarily guaranteed that she's all of those things. She doesn't have to be all those things. So if Beth was just a physician, then at least according to the way I drew these bubbles, she wouldn't be the other things. She wouldn't be a physician's assistant or a CRNA or NP either. She might just be a PA, perhaps. Maybe that's why she's able to prescribe the medicine, you know? So I'm going to put no by this one. Not guaranteed that she's all of them. What about this? Must all of them be false? So she is not a physician and not a PA and not a nurse practitioner and not a CRNA. Is that the case? No, she might be one of them. You know, she's able to prescribe the medicine, and maybe the reason is because she is a physician, and that's why Beth is here. Okay. So I'm going to put no for this one. Must it be that at least one of P, R, S, and T have to be true? One thing we can never forget about in these diagrams is this. Other explanation. Nobody said it was an exhaustive list. Those might not be the only 4 things that lead to Q. Q could be occurring because of some other cause. And what that would look like as a Venn diagram is Beth would be where? If she wasn't those 4 things, but she was still able to prescribe the medicine, where would she be? She would be in Q, but not in those other places. Somewhere in the space between. Where maybe there's some other license that I didn't think of. So I'm going to put no for that one, actually. She doesn't have to be one of those things. It could actually be that they are all false. And some other explanation was the cause for her being able to prescribe the medicine. Okay, that leaves us with just one left. The truth value of P, R, S, and T could not be determined from the information given. What do you think? Is it right or wrong? It's correct, yeah. That's the one. Okay, the takeaway, like the big takeaway from that is that just knowing that Q has occurred never allows us to know for sure whether one of these things caused it, P or R or S or T, or the other explanation. This is why abductive reasoning is not 100%. Now let's switch the situation around though, because now they're saying, what if Q was to be false? So I'll bring back Amy for that example. See, Amy, she can't prescribe. And that would mean that Q was false. And Amy, remember, is outside the Q bubble. Which one's true out of these choices? Must it be that P, R, S, and T have to all be false in this case? Check out the diagram. Could she be in bubble P? Could she be in bubble R? Could she be in bubble S? Could she be in bubble T? Could she be anywhere in bubble Q? No, because it's given that she cannot prescribe the medicine, so she has to stay outside this whole situation, which means that she is not anywhere in this diagram. And so the first one's actually right. They all have to be false.